In 1930, the Republican-controlled House of Representatives, in an effort to alleviate the effects of the, anyone? The Great Depression, passed the, anyone? The tariff bill, the Hawley-Smoot Tariff Act, which, anyone, raised or lowered? Raised tariffs in an effort to collect more revenue for the federal government. Did it work? Anyone? Anyone know the effects? It did not work, and the United States sank deeper into the Great Depression.
Hello everybody, thank you so much for coming and checking out my channel. Before we get all up in this, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let's get straight into this. So this clip, if you're on Twitter, has been going crazy because it seems like Republicans have forgotten. They've done this before. This is why you need history, so that you do not make the same mistake twice. And the Republican Party has decided that they wanted to make the mistake again. And it seems like some Republicans are not fully on board and they're looking to jump ship. Mainly Senate Republicans. Why? Because they have to be able to win in a full all-state primary, which means they have the unfortunate possibility of being voted out. Not to forget, Republicans traditionally do not like tariffs. First of all, let's go ahead and look at Senator Rand Paul.
Senator Paul, we enjoy having you on Rising quite frequently. I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think you're someone who has Trump derangement syndrome. So why is it that you think this tariff policy is perhaps misguided or perhaps should not be the purview of the executive branch rather than Congress?
You know, on many fronts, I'm a supporter of the president. I'm a supporter of the president's looking for waste and abuse, cutting out, eliminating the Department of Education, et cetera. I like his cabinet. But on tariffs, I think it's just economically, it's a fallacy to think that it will help the country. Tariffs are a tax. And if you tax trade or if you tax anything, you'll get less of it.
You can't lie and say he's one of those rhinos. He is fully behind Donald Trump in literally almost every aspect of his policies, except for tariffs. He said the quiet part out loud finally. Tariffs are a tax, and it's a regressive tax at that, which means that it will affect the 99% more than it will affect the top 1%. But I digress. As you can see, some Republicans are starting to realize this is not a good look. And to take it a step further, Senator Rand Paul actually did something about it. He and four of the Republicans, him, Mitch McConnell, Susan Collins, and Lisa Murkowski, they all sided with Democrats to sign a resolution to stop the tariffs on Canada. We all know that's going to die in the House. However, that is four Republicans that are already speaking their displeasure with their vote. Obviously, all the other Republicans have not yet done that, but they have also spoken out about this entire debacle. So this is Senator Ron Johnson just yesterday.
I'm concerned. I mean, the stock markets are concerned. I'm concerned.
You are concerned about the stock market?
Yeah, again, I don't have the president's strongly held belief that this is absolutely what has to be done. But he's president. I'm not. He ran on this, and I hope he's absolutely right.
And if he's not, then what happens next? What can Congress do?
That's hypothetical. I can't.
He doesn't want to answer that hypothetical because he understands what happens next. The only way America got out of this the last time was entering a war. I doubt he wants that to happen this time. One, because they're now the party of anti-wars, even though it's always been Republicans pushing us into wars. Say less. Anyway, as you can see, this is another Republican. He still voted, I believe, against changing the tariffs that Donald Trump put out. However, this is showing the cracks. This is another senator who is saying, I'm not truly behind this. I don't know. And I mean, even when Ted Cruz is coming out and speaking against it, mind you, Ted Cruz, if Ted Cruz is coming out and speaking against something, you know you got to be on the wrong side of the issue.
Look, I think it is a mistake to assume that we will have high tariffs in perpetuity. I don't think that would be good economic policy. I am not a fan of tariffs. And the announcement yesterday, look, time is going to tell in the next month or two or three what happens. If the result of yesterday's announcement is a lot of our trading partners across the globe dramatically reduce the tariffs they charge on U.S. goods and services. And the consequence of that is the U.S. government dramatically cuts the tariffs that were announced yesterday. That would be a great outcome. That would be good for America. If the result is our trading partners jack up their tariffs and we have high tariffs everywhere, I think that is a bad outcome for America. Tariffs are a tax on consumers, and I'm not a fan of jacking up taxes on American consumers.
There goes Ted Cruz saying it out loud. Tariffs are a tax. It seems like they've finally gotten the memo. And it seems like also he's saying a lot of if. Donald Trump has said that he is planning to release tariffs for the entire rest of his term. Now, this might not happen given the fact that, like I said, the stock market has lost $11 trillion in I believe it's the NASDAQ, and is it $4 trillion in the S&P? I could be wrong. I'm sorry if I got my numbers wrong, but it's in the trillions of dollars that the stock market has lost. And it's only been day 2. And if you don't know your Great Depression history like I do, it took 3 weeks for you to see the full extent of the Great Depression. Before Trump did this, we were at 44,000 on the Dow. We are now at 38,000 points. That is a big drop off in 2 days. Now, also on top of that, you have to deal with the fact that there's a lot of volatility. And China has announced 34% retaliatory tariffs on the United States. We're still waiting for the EU to tell us what their tariffs may be. We're still possibly Canada, Mexico with retaliatory tariffs. Oddly, I do want to point out, and I know this might be off topic, we did not issue any tariffs on Russia. Now, I just want to understand, why could that be? I know why it could be, but just hearing from y'all, put it in the comments. Why do you think we did not put any retaliatory tariffs on Russia? We put them on all our allies, even an island with nothing but penguins. Why didn't Russia get any tariffs? But just for y'all to understand and get a well-rounded understanding of just how bad tariffs are, listen to this clip.
Tariffs have also led to political decimation. When McKinley most famously put tariffs on in 1890, they lost 50% of their seats in the next election. When Hot Smoothie put on their tariff in the early 1930s, we lost the House and the Senate for 60 years. So they're not only bad economically, they're bad politically.
That is how bad tariffs are. Tariffs will literally, if the Republican Party keeps this up, which is why I think that there is going to be a push eventually that they're not going to stay quiet, because we still have some people that are students of history. Thank goodness, even though they're not using it. And tariffs will literally decimate their party. Me, as a Democrat that don't believe in the vast majority of their policies, I hope that they don't see a majority for a long time or presidency for a long time so that we can fix this and keep it fixed. But unfortunately, we all know that the American people are gluten for punishment, and they will probably still find a reason to vote a Democrat out. But that is just how bad tariffs are. The last time this happened, and I love to reiterate it, it took a world war to get us out. People have been saying that Donald Trump is doing this to decrease America's interest rates because we have to refinance some of our loans. As you know, we do have that we've been borrowing from other countries, and they've been saying that in order to do that, he's been weakening the economy. And he did post on True Social, this would be a perfect time for Fed Chairman Jerome Powell to cut interest rates. He is always late, but he could now change his image and quickly. Energy prices are down, interest rates are down, inflation is down, even eggs are down 69%, and jobs are up all within 2 months. A big one for America. Cut interest rates, Jerome, and stop playing politics. This also looks really bad because guess what? If Jerome Powell does not cut interest rates, which he does not look like he's planning to, because he sees America now having a higher inflation rate, and he's also seeing that a possibility for very slow market growth from reports earlier today, there's a possibility that he could try and remove Jerome Powell. We've already seen Jerome Powell resist this and say that Donald Trump, you can't fire me. But we also know that Donald Trump doesn't care about the laws. If he does that, there are also talks that this could possibly spin the entire global economy even further. Because then it would look like we don't have a stable economic system. We have a political economic system, which means it moves on the whims of the person who's in charge, which would look extremely bad. The Federal Reserve is supposed to be independent. However, we've also seen that courts are willing to let Donald Trump trample on the independency of some of our country's agencies. I personally don't see this ending well. What do y'all think? Y'all put in the comments. I hope I didn't scare anybody and make you feel bad. If you're like me, you're probably blissfully ignoring your 401ks. If you're not, you are extremely brave soul, because just looking at the news, which I am constantly consuming, makes me feel like, thank goodness I am not retiring anytime soon. But y'all tell me what y'all think about this in the comments. Do you think Trump knows what he's doing? Do you think this is going to end up badly like I do? Or you think we need to be more positive and we need to give him a chance? He's only had 2 months. It's what, 72 days, 73 days? I personally think we've seen enough. He campaigned on this. We already know the history of this. But y'all might have a different perspective. And I would love to hear it put in the comments. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate y'all for even if you gave me like 2 seconds or 2 minutes. Thank you so much for checking me out, and y'all have a great rest of y'all's day. Bye.